Previously on Critically Stupid.
Hi, welcome to Critically Stupid. My name is Garath and I'm your host this evening / morning / whenever you happen to be listening to this fine show. It is my duty and responsibility to refresh everybody's memory as to what happened last week. Now, if you'll throw yourselves back to a lovely windmill that we arrived at with a key to said windmill. We found the key in a graveyard, and we had heard the name Gnome Kibbins attached to it. Now, once we had arrived at the windmill, I had a little bit of quick thinking on my part, and I presented myself as the drug dealer to jump rope and TP the inhabitants of the first floor of the windmill. And eventually in the conversation, we drop the name Gnome Kibbins in, and we get introduced to Keonbro, who is played by Jenna of the Fantastic Trope. Now, Keonbro warned us that Gnome Kibbins isn't really in the best headspace at the moment. He's kind of like having a little golem episode. But yeah, we're the best, so we didn't really care. We barge upstairs, and Gnome is huddled in the corner, rocking back and forth to himself, surrounded by shards of broken mirror. You know, me being the friendly, charismatic man that I am, I go to break the ice, and I step forward with some friendly words, and he fucking jumps me. He tackles me down down the stairs we just came up, hands around my throat. I smashed through a glass table, which was unpleasant. Luckily, I left my knife outside, so I left the situation. Unfortunately, my knife had been picked up by a bird, so I teleported on top of a tree, but I lived, so that's fine. While I was taking my brief leave of absence, Arnold managed to. He saw an apparition of sorts of a woman who was possessing Gnome. Turns out Gnome had a nasty little habit of grave robbing, and decided to keep a little something for himself. And that something happened to be a cursed ring, which happens to the best of us. The man that Gnome was grave robbing with, his name was Lasser, and he works at Dandy Mops. And I'm pretty sure she mentioned something about an army, but I'm equally sure that that was just hyperbole, so no worries there. I swear to God, if there is anything wrong with this recording, I'm gonna kick the shit out of you, dude.
Garion, can you turn on your ambient light behind you so that we get a little bit more backlight?
Can you gargle my ball sack?
We're recording now, at least.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your favorite Dungeons & Dragons real play podcast, Critically Stupid.
The most watched and last watched.
Oh, hey, there we go. Straight to the theme song, and we're out.
Never
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another fabulous episode of Critically Stupid, your Dungeons & Dragons real play comedy podcast. I am your host and Dungeon Master, Alexander James. My favorite part of last week's episode was when Arnold Stevenson picked up a broken piece of mirror and cocked it over the stairs to catch a glimpse of what was possessing Gnome Kibbins. I thought that was inspired. I think my man Anthony has done some paranormal research in his spare time. Speaking of, Anthony, why don't you go next?
I'm Anthony. I play Arnold the Bard, and my favorite part of last episode was when I forgot how floors work, and I tried to look downstairs, and I could not see through the floor, and I failed epically. And I like just Alex's face when he's like, "You want to do that with mage hands?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just not understanding how the world works." That's on me, you know. So, but yeah, just that bit of embarrassment was probably one of my favorite. And, well, it's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to steal it, but like honestly, my true favorite part was when Garion teleported outside and then came back as his twin brother. that was my favorite part of the episode. Like
that was pretty good.
Yeah, nothing made me laugh like that. Like that was perfect. So speaking of it, yeah, Garion.
Hello, my name is Difadrius, Destroyer of Worlds, and I play Garath the Rogue. My favorite part of last episode was when just how quickly and easily Jump Rope believed that I was selling them drugs.
Hey, listen, sometimes intelligence is a dump stat, you know what I mean? My man Jump Rope had a lot of great qualities, but
like he didn't even ask to like see any. He was just like, really?
Oh shit.
I mean, was he already high? Because then
almost
his judgment
certainly.
would have been
Absolutely.
like probably quite impaired. Oh, it's my turn, isn't it? Hi, my name is Dianna. I play Mel. I have my little wolf pup, Joshua Patrick, Josh Pat JPZ. My favorite part of last episode, this is going to be real hard for me, bestie. I am.
Because of your memory, right? Because you don't remember very well.
Yes, my memory is horrible. That's 100% why. This was more of an above table moment. That was my favorite. But when you asked me if I ever did the Hippocratic Oath, because my brain just went right into doing a full-on fucking assessment on somebody.
Oh my god, that was so
I didn't even know I was doing it until you were like,
well, because
do
like
you?
you started so in character. You were like, oh wow, like what happened? And then Jenna as Kiambru, our amazing guest from last week, was like, oh, this thing happened. And you were like, uh-huh. So tell me about anything stressful at work, any environmental. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? We're gonna jump right in to our opening scene. Dianna, bestie, I would like you to pitch me a fantasy. I'm going to preface this by saying what's going on, dear listener. Thank you for sticking with us at least 4 minutes in. It's really big of you. This is a comedy show where we are legal, consenting adults. All 4 of us, don't ask questions. That being said, Dianna, bestie, can you pitch me a fantasy drug factory, please?
A whole ass factory?
A whole
there's
ass.
not
Now,
like
you get to decide the extent to. I mean, are we talking like a full on operation, or is it sort of like a rickety mom and pop shop?
It's a full-on operation. It's kind of owned. You know how like mafia type deal, they have like a front. So they have a front business.
It's a mattress
but, like,
warehouse.
yeah, obviously. But there's only actually like 4 mattresses in there.
Okay.
Because they're the mafia, and so they're obviously paying people off. So they're not even really trying that hard. And then like in the back, you can probably even see it through like a big fucking window.
It's like an
'cause they
open
get-
kitchen
Yeah,
concept.
yeah, it's like an open floor plan, you know?
It's someone's house.
Yeah. And then like out back in the garden, obviously, is all the fantasy weed, which whether that's illegal or not, that's obviously in the legislation. But you know, within this lovely open floor plan, you've got all your little Oompa Loompa workers just getting those. Well,
Now that you said that, I'm imagining the room with the beds to be like Grandpa Joe and like the old people, like the 4
It's
beds.
the old people
It's
from
the old
Charlie and the
people.
Chocolate Factory.
And then no
Okay,
but
all right. Let's say this. All right, so we're gonna open in an honest to God warehouse in the trade ward of Waterdeep. We're looking in through a barred window. We see 6 beds with 12 elderly people sharing beds, and like they've got like burlap sacks pulled over their chest, and they're like, you know, drinking like tea. They got the old person like sleeping cap on, the like conical thing with the ball.
They all have one blanket over them.
Behind, like 6 feet behind these mattresses, is a full-on like people in their underwear drug cutting operation. They've got heat lamps, they've got scales. Garion, I would love for you to tell me who is running this drug operation. Who is behind the front?
Balter Bite.
Now,
Yeah.
now, Garion, my beautiful boy, we love to flirt with copyright law, and I know that's a part of our shtick, but I think that one's a little thin to the quick, don't you?
He used to be an alchemy teacher at fuck, where do we live again?
Waterdeep.
Waterdeep High. But
I see what you did there.
he got diagnosed with the plague, and so he started going into the fantasy drug business to make money to put his son through wizarding school.
And he
There's
met
no
his
fantasy health insurance.
he met his partner Jesse Pinkman. It was the Jesse Pinkman though. It was
Yeah,
the
it's,
same one.
it's just the normal Jesse Pinkman from the show.
Like Jeff
Yo,
Bezos
bitch.
is real in our world, so is Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah. Yo, bitch, it's time to make some fantasy drugs, yo.
All right, so Balter Bite is strolling the floor of the warehouse, keeping a close eye on the operations, making sure that the mix is right. He's overseeing the plants come in from the back and how they're dried and whacked up and stewed and what's added to the stew. I think that all good drugs come from stew. Everybody knows this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, important detail. When Balter is at work, he prefers to be called Hindenburg.
Okay, thank you. So I think the most important part of this is, Anthony, please tell me about the one. What?
You said the most important
The
part
most
is
important
Anthony.
part
so
is
thank you.
Anthony.
This is Anthony.
True.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Appreciate that, everyone. I needed that today.
Anthony, I would love for you to tell me what goes wrong at the Hindenburg plant today. What takes the Hindenburg down?
/ mattress warehouse.
Mattress warehouse.
Yeah. I was like, what takes the Hindenburg out? Well, I'm not gonna stick with the making schmad situation.
Making schmad.
It's no. In this case, it's actually it's the owner of a competing mattress warehouse who thinks like they're a really good mattress warehouse. They don't recognize that it's a front. They're just like, I have to take these.
He's like, how are these guys doing so well?
How are they making so much money? They only have 6 mattresses.
Yeah. What's in these mattresses?
And they're occupied.
So they send, I'm gonna say they send like a wind up teddy bear to like go in there, and it's gonna be like an explosive of some sort. It's gonna go in there.
Like a Trojan teddy bear.
Yeah, like a Trojan teddy bear. Yeah.
Teddy bear. All right, so I think we hear like a ticking of gears, and we see from the teddy bear's perspective, like it's like a long shot down an aisle of these drug cutters.
Now
It's
I'm
like
sad.
It's a teddy, Bessie. It's a teddy bear.
He has a
Fucking
little
buck
heart
up.
tag on him, and it says Gregory. And
All
it
right,
says,
Anthony,
I love hugs.
Can you fucking stop it, please?
And also, it's like slightly worn out, so you know that the bear has been like loved. And it's not.
Yeah, like one of its eyes is a button, and it's got a little kid's name like.
It's got a few like
tag.
spots that are like so
I
nice.
don't give a fuck about the kid, but I'm like sad for the fuck that kid who clearly dropped that bear somewhere because kids are careless and didn't deserve Gregory.
That kid's barely.
Not even a little, and now the bear has turned to a life of crime. It is now like a suicide bomber.
I like that better. I like that better than a
suicide thing is my shtick, and secondly, I'm really sad now.
I like that better than a wind-up doll. I think that Gregory is a fully alive and sentient teddy bear who just hates his life. And he's
the Marvin Man.
He's sprinting down the aisle of this drug factory, and he's like grabbed his like seams, and he just like rips it open and explodes in like a fiery burst of violet powder.
Did he do any of the product first?
Oh yeah, his eyes were
because I feel
dilated.
like I was gonna say if
you're
I were
gonna
gonna
go,
make suicide bear, I'm getting high on whatever's in there first.
The result of this is after the mayhem and the screaming and the chaos, Balter Bite, aka Hindenburg, as he likes to be referred to at work, goes through and scrubs all of the mal and goes through and scrubs all of the bad product off of the line. He doesn't want any of his product to be compromised because Balterbite, aka Hindenburg, has a very high standard. However,
99% pure.
Jesse motherfucking Pinkman slips in dressed in an old man nightie and cap with a ball on it. He's been pretending to be one of the grandparents this entire time.
What a twist.
And steals one brick of whatever fantasy drugs these guys are producing that's got just a little smattering of purple dust over the top. And that's where we're going to leave that. I would like to do a little twist. Normally we open like straight into the action, we get going. I want to do a little slice of life. You guys have owned Troll Skull Tavern for a few weeks to a month. I would like you to tell me what specifically you guys have done to sort of bring in business and improve the actual tavern, like promotions or acts or, you know, new offerings. Just like, how's the tavern doing?
I like to imagine that we invented the first ever neon open sign.
Okay, tell me more. How did it come about?
So me and Arnold were just chilling after hours. You know, he had just finished his set. Everyone in the bar had already vacated, but Garath listened to the rest of the song because why wouldn't he? It was a banger.
Obviously.
Yes.
And then they were brainstorming about like how could we get more people into the tavern and or the library, and we were like, oh dude, how could they tell if we're open or not? And so
I like the idea that Arnold would go, oh, I have an idea, and like use his like minor illusion to create a light bulb above his head. But then his idea is just like, we could just have someone stand outside and tell people.
Yeah, so Gareth is just like, that is a fantastic idea. However, I don't want to pay another employee. I barely want to pay the current one. But what if, now can you do that thing you did with the light bulb, except make it say open with like a cool little arrow pointing to the door?
Okay, so I do it again with like, you know, it's a light bulb, but there's like a little balloon, like a word balloon that says with a cool little arrow with it pointed to the door because it's saying that. So that's.
And even Garath is like, that's a lot of letters for open. I wouldn't have thought that needed that many, but all right.
Yes.
Wow, yeah, that's 1, 2, yeah, that's a lot
Nailed
of letters.
it.
All right.
But like I count it and I like lose track. I'm like 1, 2, 3. The one after that.
I like to think that you guys. I like to think that you guys took this concept to Wicked Wares and Wiles, and Dina, Daniel, and Sean the Gorilla like came up with an open sign that's we'll call it like trapped fairy fire in glass tubes that they've blown into be patent pending, of course. But that is now on like I think it's so Troll Skull Tavern sits on a corner lot, and I think you guys have it like just behind the fence, so that it's like right when people like you can't not see it. And
or alternatively, we could have it just like directly above the front door, and the arrow is just pointing straight down.
You could do that too. I think the real question that I'm going to ask Dianna is, what color is the open sign?
It is like a light. Yeah, no. Actually, it's gonna be hot pink.
Hot pink.
Is all of it
that's
hot
awesome.
pink, or is like the arrow a different color?
The arrow is going to be like a neon purple.
Ooh, vaporwave vibes.
Hell
I love
yeah.
this. I love this. Okay,
Totally.
so we've got
Definitely not from the poster behind Anthony.
No. Obviously.
That was the equivalent of looking around the room to make up a fake name, like map, light.
Yeah, that's what's gonna next
Speaker.
time I need to come up with a name. I'm gonna take it from that poster. I'm gonna be like, yeah.
So we've got a fairy fire open sign. Arnold, what have you been doing to sort of like bring people into Troll Skull Tavern?
Okay, so Arnold has recognized that like he wants to be more known of around the neighborhood, but he doesn't have a lot of time because he's out like going on adventures with his friends all the time. He's being a hero, he's trying to save lives, and like so he's out adventuring. So what he's decided to do is he got his friend Ronald to dress up like him. So now Arnold is trying to brand himself. So he's created the Arnold McDonald character. So now everyone who works playing music at Troll Skull has to dress like that and be Arnold McDonald. so no one knows.
It's like how Chuck E. Cheese always has
Yes.
somebody in the Chuck E.
in the
suit.
Chucky suit, exactly.
That is the most
Chuck
horrifying
Entertainment
image
Cheese.
I've ever. Like you've got like varying groups that are they're like, oh fuck, I gotta go work at Troll Skull tonight. I hope the Arnold McDonald costume has been cleaned since last time.
And it never has. Like that's on Floon, and you know he's not doing.
Oh,
it.
you know Floon ain't doing the laundry.
Not a
Come on.
chance.
During
so-
the unnamed winter holiday of this world, the kids can sit on Arnold McDonald's lap for pictures.
Yep. And it's just Arnold McDonald with like a white beard. I love that Garath is like a legitimate businessman who's like coming up with cool ideas, and Arnold is like a children cartoon villain who's like trying to make himself well known.
I like to think the little bit of interest Mel showed would have been to like maybe suggest to bring in like really popular bands, but then Arnold cried for 8 days. So she was like, "You forget it."
Well, I mean, it's good that you.
And
bring
then
that up,
that's when
Diana.
he's like, "Well, I'll just make them all dress up like, you know, this character."
Well, that's how I'm gonna become the really popular band that plays the Troll Skull.
Yeah,
it's
everyone
just,
knows
it's just
Arnold
Arnold
McDonald.
McDonald as the Rolling Stones. They're like, man, I didn't know Arnold McDonald sang Satisfaction that good. That's crazy. Okay, so Diana as Mel, in addition to the open sign and the Arnold McDonald groups that are coming in, what is Mel doing to further the success of Troll Skull?
I think she would probably leverage Josh Pad a little bit because he's real cute. And like maybe just try to like on walks or whatnot when he's sniffing around and people inevitably come up to pet him, be like, "Oh hey, you can see him. We hang out at Troll Skull." Just like using that time. To,
Okay.
Set up like a
who's
petting
not
booth.
gonna kind of. I mean, Josh.
No
Pad's
way
good
Josh
for it.
Pad sits through a petting booth though.
Yeah, I don't
mean,
want
is he
to
that
whore Josh
docile?
Pad out either. I don't want to be Josh Pad's pimp.
You know what we can do? We can say
Yeah,
Josh Pad is
Pad
so
would
cute.
like the attention.
Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say Josh Pad is so cute that it's like a petting booth, but just to look. People will pay not a lot of money. Let's say a copper nib.
They have to pay
To
extra
look at Josh
if they
Pad.
want a pet,
Okay,
and they
there
have
you
to
go.
bring a treat that he likes.
So it's like a copper nip to look at the wolf pup, and like that's fine. People pay that, but then it's like a full golden booby to touch the wolf pup.
Right.
A golden what?
We went over this in Clara's
Golden
episode.
booby and like a turkey leg.
And a
But she
turkey
doesn't
leg.
give them to him all at once because then otherwise Josh Pad is going to be a chunky little boy. So
I like to imagine like people will leave Troll Skull and be like, "Dude, Josh Pad came like right up to my hand, dude."
It's like little Sebastian from Parks and
Yeah.
Recreation.
that's
God,
how I'm
no.
picturing it anyway.
Incredible. Okay, great. So you guys are seeing some success in Troll Skull. Not a lot because no business takes off right away. But, you know, you started with Floon. Unfortunately, you still got Floon. That's kind of...
We started from the bottom and now we're here.
You started from the bottom and now you're here. I couldn't have phrased it better myself. The library is doing well. People are coming in to read books. The coffee section is doing well. People are getting like coffee and tea and like maybe like a breakfast. I think you got like a breakfast pastry delivery from a local bakery every day. Not a lot, but like enough to like entice people in the morning, because everybody knows Friday and Saturday nights are going to take care of themselves. You got to put butts in the seats in the morning and the weekdays.
Yes,
And I think-
everybody knows that. Certainly not the executive chef of us. Everybody knows that.
This is common knowledge.
No, that's like not hard to figure out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, you want to go
I
to a
know.
bar on a
I was
Tuesday
trying to help.
afternoon?
I was trying to flex on his new job. Well, fuck me for trying to do a nice thing. Continue.
Now let's get into the meat. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. I think
Yeah.
it starts with Garath.
Me.
Late night, Friday night, after a big night and day at Troll Skull Tavern. You guys had a really successful morning. The tables were almost packed with people reading books and comic books and drinking coffee and eating pastries. And then you guys had like a big evening. Arnold brought in a group called Hurl Jam, and they all dressed in as Arnold McDonald.
That's right.
And Arnold, I mean, you guys were so busy. Arnold didn't even have time to like get on stage. He was back behind the bar with you and Floon. You guys were 3 bartenders deep on a Friday night throwing drinks. And you're sitting at the table late at night. It's like 2 a.m. and Floon comes up to you and he's got a black tray with a single round of drinks on it. And he says, "Hey, bro, Garath, can I run an idea past you?"
Garath is reading a comic book, but by reading, he's just looking at the pictures. So he's like idly leafing through. He looks like, "Sure, Floon, shoot it past me."
So like, I was looking at our product mix, and you know that like, so our drinks run at like sort of 50%, 45 to 50% cost, and even with our markup, we're still losing a little bit in the margins there. I've got this round of drinks that I've been batch testing, and like, I can make them for like 15%. They're cheap, but they taste really good. I think we could sell them for more. Will you try one? I want like the Bro Garath seal of approval, the sneak attack. You know what I mean?
Well, sure,
Floon
but
take economics.
now, Floon, I congratulate
thought
your
it was
effort.
dumb.
I have a few questions about your presentation. Which one is bigger, 15 or 50?
I'm pretty sure it's 50.
Well, okay, but don't we want more money? So why would we want 15? Isn't that less money?
Well, Bro Garath, like if it costs you 50% of something to make, the cost is higher. So if it costs 15%, it costs less to make. So it's a 75% product margin, bro, or profit margin. Shit, I'm sorry. I get so flustered.
You know what? I believe you. Like the whole time he's saying this, Gareth, like smoke starts coming out of his ears.
Garrett's brain overheats like an old bus engine. So he slides this black tray in front of you, and on it are 3 glasses. There is a warm earthenware mug, like a coffee mug. There is a highball glass with ice, and then there is a sort of like a tropical cocktail with like an umbrella that he's skewered like bits of fruit on and put in there. He's like, "Which one do you want to try, bro?"
I think Gareth is gonna do like an eeny meeny miny mo. Kinda.
Nice. Okay. Roll a d4 for me, Garath.
D4, you got it. Damn, I should have got my dice out before we started recording.
Well, while you're getting your dice out, Arnold and Mel, what are you guys doing in Troll Skull late at night that you can be involved in this scene? Mel, I'm assuming maybe something with the crow's nest, being sort of like up and away from people.
Yeah, that's
That's a pretty
logical.
safe guess.
Yeah. She likes to say that she's security to just get away with being up there all the time, and
All right.
it's not a bad vantage point if needed, but mostly she's up there just ready to throw an encyclopedia at somebody's head at a moment's
100%.
notice,
100%.
like, you know.
Okay, I'm rolling the D4, and I
Okay.
got a 1.
Okay. You go for the warm earthenware cup, and you take a sip. And first of all, like raising it up to your nose, it smells like it almost like reminds you of like the forests of home. Like it's got that sort of like earthy root vegetables, like cooked home style meal smell to it. But when you sip it, it tastes like mulling spices and fresh pickles, and it's got like a bite of hard alcohol that's almost lost in like that really pleasant acidity from a good pickle.
Everything you just described sounds disgusting to me, but Gareth is super into it.
Gareth loves it. Fantasy
It didn't
cocktails.
sound very good to me. I pickle.
And Floon turns to you, Arnold. What are
I
you
like
doing?
pickles, but
Okay,
I don't
so-
think I want to drink them. Sorry.
No, so Arnold, he started at the stage and he's slowly walking backwards, like going behind people. And as he's doing that, he's doing that thing
Moonwalking.
that people do in the crowd, where he's like, "Oh my God, Arnold McDonald's amazing!" He's just like he's trying to like hype up himself as he's going backwards. Yeah, like he's trying to be all the different. He's using like minor illusion to cast like so people are like, "Whoa, this guy's got wanting to play my birthday." Like he was at my wedding. Oh my gosh! Like all these like little.
He helped me move last week.
Are there still? I'm sorry, above tape. There's still people there. I thought we were closed, but I think
I
I
Already
also-
closed. I'm sorry.
We are closed, but we can say that Arnold is practicing for the next day.
Yeah,
he's just
I
doing
needed
it, but,
something to
like-
do. I'm sorry. I just.
Oh,
No,
no, I
I
didn't
I
know
love
too.
that
It
you,
could have
like,
been
I
like
love
the
that-
last people there, finish your drink and then get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, like they're
I
on their way
wasn't
to the
sure.
door, and you're just like, "Man, I had so much fun listening to
Yeah, all
Arnold
right. I'm fine
McDonald."
with that. Yeah,
Yes,
there's like
there you
2 or
go.
3 people, and you're just
So
like,
just-
wow, that guy's. But they're like, it's still like 2 or 3 people, so they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
You do it.
No, they're like he's doing the minor illusion to like make a sound, but they're like I didn't say that. And
Was that-
you moved your mouth? Who was that?
Who said that? And then Arnold is gone like a wraith. But Arnold, Floon turns to you, and he's got this black tray with 2 drinks on it. One is a tropical-looking cocktail with bits of fruit skewered in a cocktail umbrella, and the other is a tall highball glass with ice and a straw, and it's like a purple magenta color. And he's like, "Oh, bro, Arnold, do you want to try one of my bevies?"
Can I ask him what flavor they are?
Oh yeah, so this one's called like a Phi Tai. It's got, and he points to the one with fruit in it. It's got like watermelon and kiwi, and I put some strawberries in there. There's a little raspberry, some blueberries too. I got some blackberries that I put in there, and a little tomato.
Okay.
Tomatoes are fruit too.
So you're making smoothies. Is there any kind of is there anything else in this? Is it a smoothie? Yeah, I'll try it. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's like 5 ounces of like hard liquor in there.
Can I say I'm already chugging it because I thought it was just a
I like
smoothie.
that Arnold was like, "What's in it?"
So yeah, I'm just gonna pick it up and just swig.
It is so sweet. It tastes like the blue shark bowl beverage they serve at Applebee's. You know, the one with like candy floating on the top.
Yeah. Too much.
It's almost nauseatingly sweet,
Yeah.
but very tasty and super strong.
Okay.
And then Floon turns to the crow's nest that is bolted onto the wall at Troll Skull. And Mel, you see his cheerful smile wither from the edges to the center, and like all of the blood drains from his face, and he takes 2 steps before Josh Pat starts growling, I think. And he goes, "Oh, bro, Mel, I made a drink. Do you want to try it? It's really
No, I'm good, thank you.
It's really
Oh,
good.
this one's pretty good.
No, they can
Gareth
split
drains his
it.
glass.
I'm good.
So can I
Mel
just
does not like Floon. She's historically never really liked Floon, and she's definitely not interested in coming down and drinking something that Floon has made. Like, she wants, and Josh Pat's growling at him too, and that's usually a warning to sign. So she's just gonna stay up there and
Okay. All right. No, 100%. Like, why? Yeah, that's fully in character. I buy that. Okay. Really quick.
I don't know if you heard that. I'm sorry.
What'd
I'm
you
dropping
say?
stuff.
Oh no, it's fine.
Oh, I'm dropping stuff. If you hear that on the replay, sorry. I've been drinking.
So can Arnold just take it and be like, "Oh, you don't want your smoothie? They're good," and just
Oh no, Arnold. Okay.
All yours, Arnold.
Okay. All right. I just realized I don't have my dice, so I need to get those really quick, and I also need to do some frantic thinking. I will be right back. We are going to split the party metaphorically, and when I say split the party, I mean I'm going to have to describe what's happening to you individually because I made some errors in judgment, which is fine. I do that a lot.
2/3 of us drank poison.
So I'm going to describe what's happening to Garath and Arnold and Mel. I'm just going to need to pause. I'm just going to need to press pause on your character just for a second, and then
That's all right. She's
bring you in the
reading. She's snugging her dog.
Wait, are you gonna deafen Diana so she
No,
can't hear?
no, God, no. Because I want her to be able to comment and make jokes. Like, I mean, it's a comment. It's like just having her sit there in silence wouldn't be fun for her. So, okay. I think we're going to go with Arnold first. I think Arnold, as you're reaching for Mel's beverage and you're like, "Are you sure this is really tasty?" You already feel the edges of the room floating away.
Okay.
Like you are already sinking into the floor metaphorically. I think your sense of equilibrium is completely compromised. And as you take the second drink, which tastes like sunset on a beach. It tastes like a warm summer breeze and like bits of like, or you get like a faint hit of herb, but like the rest of the subtleties of the drink are completely lost on you because you're already sliding into your own spine.
Of course.
You open your eyes to see a cottage in the woods.
Okay.
Please tell me about this cottage, Arnold.
Okay. I mean, I'm just gonna go. I am gonna go Hansel and Gretel and say it's a candy cottage because I was just
Hell
tasting
yeah.
like the most delicious, fruity, and like
Yeah.
sweet beverage ever. And I imagine that if I were to hallucinate a cottage, it would be a candy cottage. So yeah, I'm gonna say it's like graham cracker walls with like all these like embellished, like candy fillings with like licorice
gumdrop
lines, like-
doorknob.
Exactly. Yeah, everything
Gumdrop
is
doorknob.
candy, like
I'm so with it.
top to bottom, 100%.
The fence is made out of candy canes. I'm so there.
There's like a little garden of like little like gingerbread figures and like
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
cool stuff. Okay, great, perfect. In
Cotton
front of this
candy smoke coming out of the chimney. Sorry.
that was
Yes,
amazing.
yes. In
Love
front
it.
of this candy cottage, Arnold, there are several instruments leaning against the sort of the door underneath the eaves, where it's got sort of like a porch and it's protected from the wind and the rain and the elements. You see a lute, a set of drums. There's a flute. There's a tuba. They're not candy. They're regular instruments. And as you're standing there, the door swings open and a man who kind of looks like Pedro Pascal walks out. He's a little bit older, a little bit weather faced, but he's
Ruggedly
got
handsome.
ruggedly handsome.
I was
and
gonna
his-
say, if I'd known Pedro was gonna be there, I would have drank the fucking thing.
listen. You made your choices and I made mine.
I
You have to
know,
be taught lessons
damn.
sometimes.
Yeah, you made your
I'm
bed
so
and I'll lie in
glad.
Pedro's. Let's do this.
Oh,
Damn.
Why must you hurt me like this?
But he looks at you, Arnold, and he says, my friend, you're here. Please come in. Come. And Arnold, I think you take a step and you hear your footstep echoed by somebody next to you.
Okay,
We're going to press pause on you for a second.
got it.
Gareth, you open your eyes to find yourself in a mountainous ravine. It's leaning towards evening. The sky is alive with leaden clouds, and it's dark and windy and getting a little rainy. And you see the door to a rogue's den buried in the mountains. Please tell me about this rogue's den buried in the mountains.
Okay, before I do that, I have a question.
Please.
So, because I assume that Gareth drinks more than Arnold by a substantial amount.
False. You drank probably all of your beverage, but Arnold.
No,
drank...
I mean in general.
Oh,
It's
okay, all right. Yeah,
intolerance-wise.
sorry. Okay.
But two, Arnold did drink Mel and his drink. He had 2 of the 3.
Correct.
So would I be able to do a constitution roll to see if I figure out this is a hallucination? It wouldn't necessarily change that I'm seeing it, but
You know what? Yeah, roll it and let's see.
all
It's a
right,
good
so
call.
my constitution is a +2, and I rolled a 16.
Okay. I think
So 18 total.
I think this early on, you might have feelings like, wow, I've had really strong side effects of substances like this before. But in the moment, you think it's
Don't even get me started on the jong.
I mean, hey, listen. You're still coming down from the jong. The jong hasn't left you.
I still
Jong
say
is still
y'all
inside you.
sometimes.
Tell me about this rogue's den, Gareth.
So it is. I'm not describing it in my character voice. Get over it. It is nestled in the bottom of the ravine, but it's not in the. A ravine is a V. It's not in the bottom of the V. It's more off to the side.
Yeah, like tucked into the walls kind of thing.
Exactly. It's sheltered by a lot of trees and boulders and debris, and it would be very hard to spot if not for one of the rocks being scratched with a mark, almost like hobo code.
Yeah, okay.
That's the thing that rogues can do, right? Like thieves can't. Like they
Yeah,
can,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You got a language.
So the marking on the rock, you move the rock, and it kind of moves the whole tree cover away that reveals the entrance to the rogue den. And what's surprising about the rogue den is even though you can't see it from the outside, it has a shocking amount of natural light inside.
Okay.
I
Let's say that
like
it's
that Gareth can't read, but that he knows this entire code of images.
Well, yeah, they're just like circles and lines. That's
yeah,
easy.
that's actually what
like-
Thieves
like-
Camp is.
like,
It's
yeah, you know what they all mean, but letters throw you.
It's because the old man who I left to burn alive also couldn't read, but he could speak the thieves' language.
You're the thing. All
So
right.
he taught me. That's just
Let's-
another real twist in the gut for the audience there.
let's say that there are really cleverly concealed niches in the rock above this gallery or above this den that lets natural light in once you're inside. But Garath, I think you go inside, probably seeking shelter from like the storm that's brewing on the horizon behind you, and you hear an amused voice echo from inside the den and say, "Whoa, nobody's ever found it before on their own. You're pretty impressive, little guy." And you see walking out of like a twist in the tunnel before the natural light comes and holding a torch, an older woman. She's got an eye patch over one eye and silver and gold raw nuggets woven into her hair. And like she's got bracelets on, and she's wearing black leather armor that's really sleek and expensive looking. And she has a pair of daggers strapped onto her hips. And she smiles at you, and a gold tooth winks in her grin. And she's like, "Come on in, little guy. It's getting nasty out there, huh?"
I'm average height.
I'm sorry.
You know how dudes a lot of the time will like fail to make eye contact and just look directly at like cleavage?
Yeah.
Garath is staring directly at her jewelry, just like
Oh,
the
word,
silver
okay.
nuggets in it.
Yeah. And she motions for you to come in, and you take a step, and you hear your footstep echoed by somebody walking right beside you. I would like two things from you guys. Arnold,
Mhm.
I would like you to tell me what 10-year-old Garath looks like. And Garath, I would like you to tell me what 10-year-old Arnold looks like in your head.
Okay. Oh, like just what we imagine. Like, okay. I imagine the 10-year-old Garath looks like a much shorter version of what Garath looks like now.
That's usually
With
how
the facial hair.
Otherwise,
But like, yeah, no, but
back
he's
then.
exactly him, just shorter.
he's got like a downy like peak.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
was
like
thinking.
edged in with marker.
Like, that's it. Just it's absolutely him, shorter and like almost with the same clothes. Like it's just he's wearing his dad's shirt. Like one
Okay,
of
just
those.
like my wizard robe, I didn't dye black yet because I'm like still in the village.
Okay.
Yeah, more wizardry.
Is
Because
Is he armed, Arnold? Is he like? Does he have any sort of like weapon or?
I think
Aside
in
from
my
the gun show, obviously.
no, yeah. Of course. No, I think like okay, in Arnold's head, his friend was like born a wizard and has been a wizard for a long time. So I think he would have like this like ornate staff, like this kind of like crazy, like you shall not pass, sort of like old like pieces of a tree that's just like withered and like tethered together, that kind of thing. That's what he would have as a weapon.
Okay. It is important to note at this moment, dear listener, hi, thank you for sticking with us. Garath is a rogue. Arnold is convinced that his best friend Garath is a wizard. You haven't got it fucked up. You've got it right. It's just a little piece of headcanon that we've got going on for us.
Just basic lore. Garath used to live in a wizarding village, but he didn't jive with the whole wizarding school or regular school, so he left.
Exactly. Now, Garath, please tell me what 10-year-old Arnold looks like in Garath's imagination.
So, okay, I don't have like an image, but I have like a vibe that is so strong, and I have to say it.
Let's go.
10-year-old Arnold was absolutely one of the kids who would like wear a tie to school to impress everyone.
He's like young Sheldon.
No, but like not in like a nerdy way, just like I want to look my best way.
Okay. All right.
So
I
imagine
wearing the tie now.
I imagine 10-year-old Arnold as like really well dressed, but at the same time, the clothes he's wearing are like kind of muddy and like torn a little bit because he's like clumsy.
Okay.
Like he hasn't developed motor skills quite yet, so he's
covered in Ninja Turtle band-aids.
Yeah,
from like 30 times.
The hems of his like pants are all fucked up because he keeps like stepping on them.
I like that actually. I think he's got 10-year-old Arnold has like a long sleeve shirt that's rolled up to his elbows really hastily. He's
also missing one of his like two front teeth, like classic children in cartoons.
Adorable. His like 6 out of 10 of his fingers have bandages on them somehow, and he's got like a necktie, and he's also barefoot. Like he lost his shoes.
Checks out.
So, Arnold, you step forward and you turn, and suddenly a younger version of Garath is there with you. He's 10 years old. And then you look down and
Really,
you
just
are
a smaller
also
version of Gareth.
yeah, just a smaller version of Garath, I guess. But you look around and Arnold, you're also young too. You're
Okay.
also 10 years old. Gareth, same with you. You are the same age as young Arnold.
Oh, we've been
I'm not
ratatouille.
I'm not gonna make you describe yourself because that's not how dreams work.
Oh, I kind of wanted
This
to
is
because I just
like the-
made up interesting lore on the spot.
This is like the weirdest fucking DMT trip that I've ever heard of, but I'm here for it.
Gareth, hold on to that. I will give you the opportunity to do that later. Arnold, we're going with you first. You and Gareth step forward as Pedro Pascal. I gotta find a different. I can't keep dropping Pedro Pascal. The Pedro Pascal.
You're just doing it to bother me.
The
Hey,
Mandalorian.
I made you frantically think.
the Fandalorian. He picks up a loot besides the door, and just like while he's waiting for you guys to enter his candy cane cottage, his fingers strum on it. And Arnold, I mean, you could tell right off the rip, this guy is a master at what he does. The melody that is rippling out of this lute it almost like folds on itself while he's playing it. It sounds like 2, 3, 4 Pedro Pascals are playing the guitar as he's waiting, and you're like, wow, that's super impressive.
Now there's 4 of them, bestie.
Hey, listen. If you don't take the bit, you got to stay
Now
outside
you
the
don't get
bit.
to have a foursome with 4 different Mandalorians, all right?
Damn it.
And that's on you.
It is.
You walk inside,
I didn't
and
know.
the inside of this cottage is cozy and compact. There's a gingerbread slab table with benches, and it's laden with Jello and Turkish delight and roasted gumdrop buttons, and there's a fresh pudding that's got like speckles of marshmallow dust on it. And Pedro Pascal says, please sit, please. What brings you to the forest? You are a little dare I say a little young to be walking around unaccompanied.
Real quick, I don't know if I'll get a chance to talk as young Gareth, but if I do, I think that Arnold assumes he talks like a regal wizard. Like,
Oh my god. Wait, don't go any further, because if it happens, Arnold's got to make that decision what that sounds like for himself.
Oh, I wouldn't talk for young Garion. Okay, I got you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, Arnold.
Okay, so he asks, does my character understand that this is a hallucination? Like, do I know?
Oh, absolutely not. No, you
of
are
course,
fully in the moment. You're so high right now, bro.
Of course,
Like,
I'm so high. Yeah.
Whoo.
So, can I? At this point, my character hasn't spoken aloud since being this high. So I guess I would just be like, what?
You realize he's young because his voice hasn't broken.
Yeah.
I got it.
Don't worry. Everything is fine, my dear friend. Please have a seat. You must be confused. I am here to help.
Oh, are you going to help me learn how to play the instruments the way you did it just now? Because that's amazing.
If you would like to learn how to play the lute the way I play the lute, my friend, I am here to teach you everything you need to know. My name is Andorra.
I thought you were going to do like a bolt or bite thing only for Pedro Pascal.
No, I'm better.
My
I'm
name
built
is
different.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Pedro Wascal. No,
I don't
he
hate
says,
it.
my name is Andorra. I am a friendly practitioner of magic and music, and I am here taking a brief sojourn from my tour around the country. I am somewhat of a musician, as you have seen. But you, dear boy, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Fine.
What brings you to the forest? You are quite far away from wherever it is you come from.
Drugs.
Yeah, I'm good.
Ain't it the way?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how I got here, but I just once I started hearing music and then smelling the smells of whatever this place is, I just followed it because it felt like home. It felt safe. It felt delicious, and I want it. I don't mean to intrude. I don't want to eat your house, but I also want to eat your house.
Oh, friend, please, sit at the table. Help yourself. And he actually
Sit at the table. Have a bite of the table.
He flicks his wrist, and like seemingly out of nowhere, a gingerbread plate appears in his hand, and he starts like loading you up with like roasted gumdrop buttons and a little of that pudding with marshmallow dust on it. Like and then he hands it to you. Do you take a bite?
So would Arnold? would Arnold in his like inebriated state still have access to like memories of like childhood or anything? Like, would
no,
Okay,
for sure,
okay.
yes.
So like, because I'm trying to gauge like the level of danger that Arnold would feel walking into a place that in my mind is, obviously the
Paradise.
den of paradise and the den of a witch, of an evil like cannibalistic witch monster. But
This is literally the plot of Hansel and Gretel so far.
yeah, exactly. That's why. So
Hey, listen, my man
Hey, we
said
did
I'm
it.
going full Hansel and Gretel. What do you want from
we
me?
did it. Yeah. So okay. But I'm gonna say Arnold would probably take something just like out of like to be polite and just kind of hold it and just be like, so is everything in this place edible? Do you make all of this?
100% of it is edible. You can have whatever your heart's fancy, except for me, dear. Well, please do not take a bite of me. I am. Now listen. I understand that you might look at this and have a fright struck into your heart because it's a little scary, right? Candy cottage, strange, handsome men walking out the door. Listen,
I'm 10 years old and I didn't suggest that you were handsome. It's a little weird that you're suggesting it now.
You don't have to suggest it, my friend. I own a mirror and I have eyes. Huh? I found this cottage. I don't live here. I mean, I do live here, but I didn't build it.
Okay.
What's here?
I think my
I'm
question
squatting
for you. I think my
Okay, go.
question for you, Arnold, is, and you'll forgive me for being a little familiar. Why are you so scared all the time?
Damn.
Okay.
I don't.
yeah,
I
I-
were doing therapy tonight, Bashti. Now I'm back. to
If I
being
knew
glad
therapy
didn't
was
drink the
involved, I would
fucking-
have chugged that drink.
And Mel's like, God damn it, I should have. It's like that bit from Catch Me If You Can where Leo DiCaprio's like, why didn't I concur?
So Arnold's like, okay, he kind of like, I'm gonna say he like Socratically is like, woo, when am I scared all the time?
Well, my friend, again, forgive me for being a little familiar. It seems to me that in your village and in your interactions with the other musicians that you live with, it seems that you are quite timid. No, you everything scares you. You cry a lot. That's fine. People cry, but you seem to cry all the time, and it seems to me that you might want to talk about why you're so scared.
Okay. So Arnold would basically be like, are you my father?
No, but I can see why you would want this to be true.
Okay, so basically Arnold just like, I want to know, so how do you, I don't know you. How do you know all this about me?
Perfect. We're going to cut to Garath.
Okay.
Garath, this woman leads you into this rogue's den. And as the tunnel twists and opens into the den full, you see these slants of light that these very cleverly carved niches are allowing, like the last vestiges of daylight to filter through. And you're looking, Garath, at piles of treasure. It's sliding from the walls. It's like old leaves blown into the corner of abandoned houses in fall. Like there's so much of it. There are stands of armor and figurines of pure gold. There are chests and chests of golden boobies and silver coins and copper nips. There are like weapons on the wall, like
Bronze vaginas. You gonna keep going?
Gwyneth
Brass
Paltrow has a whole
cookies.
line of candles.
There
But
are iron buttholes, platinum penises.
Along one wall, there is a massive fire roiling in a hearth that's been carved into the rock wall, and there's a pair of very comfortable looking, albeit somewhat tattered, armchairs sitting in front of the fire. And this woman sort of carelessly throws her torch into the fire and gestures at one of the armchairs for you to sit. And she sits and sort of like pulls a little bit at the patch over her eye and says, "Well, so what brought you here?"
DMT.
Well, you complimented me earlier on being the only one to find it, but you wrote an invitation on the door, so I assumed it was open.
Well, I mean, I always open for a fellow member of the Thieves Guild or Fucking shit. Sorry.
Wow, Garrett's trip just took a very weird turn.
It's always
Enough
open
with
to
the front. I'm gonna kill you.
It's always open to somebody who also speaks Thieves' Camp. I'm always a friend of a fellow rogue, but it's not exactly what I would call conspicuous. It takes a keen eye to recognize it and to be bold enough to walk in, which I like.
Well, I appreciate your friendship. My question is, does your friendship extend to generosity?
Well, of course. Anybody that's managed to find their way deserves something to take home.
In the middle of that sentence, Gareth starts just like scooping piles.
Okay. What do you go for first? You go raw? Do you go raw liquid coin, or do you go for like a big thing?
My first handful
You go
is
for an
raw,
iron
is just raw
asshole.
cash because
or-
that doesn't have to be fenced off.
Uh-huh.
But I think once I get enough of just the raw gold coins, that's when I start going for a pretty jewel, something that like catches my eye.
Okay. I think you get a good like double handful of gold
Boobies,
coin,
of course.
golden boobies. I think stuffed into your like shirt front, Gareth. I think you tuck your shirt in and then
If I had a bra, I would be putting them in my bra.
Exactly. But the thing that catches your eye is a necklace hanging on one of these sort of like armor stands throughout this cave. And it is a sapphire the size of a tangerine,
Hell yeah.
inlaid in an inlay, idiot, set in
You're
gold.
real struggle bussy tonight,
And
bestie.
I'm
with
doing
the
a lot of like
A
improv
struggle
stuff and-
bussy.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it when you get it right in your struggle bussy?
Listen, there was an iron asshole, so I was just leaning into it. That's not what I meant.
Is that another coin at Waterdeep? Is the struggle bussy?
Yeah, it's like the lowest coin. It's like, oh damn, yeah, I'll get this for 2 struggle bussies. Anyway, above the table here, can I take the opportunity to like just insert cool random lore
What is it about?
about like the wizarding village I came from?
Oh yeah, sure, go for it.
So when Garath is bending down to scoop up his riches,
Mm-hmm.
he bends down, his hair, kind of falls in front of his face, and he realizes that his hair is black. And he figures out, my hair hasn't been black since I was 15. What happened?
Okay, all right. So just like a moment where Gareth sees the edge of this illusion a little bit.
Yeah, just because
Okay,
like
I
I kind of got the idea from like how like birds get more colorful feathers when they get older. I just imagined the wizard from the village get white hair at 16.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like that a lot. All right, bet. So you're scooping all this coin. Do you go for the necklace, Gareth? Do you take it off this armor stand?
I think that I don't want to overstep my thing, so I think I'll point it out and inquire about it. So like this necklace here on the armor stand, is it of any significance?
It is. Well, it's funny you should ask. It's a little bit of a rare take. I was on a 5-day heist with a temporary crew. I always like to roll solo. I don't really trust other people, much like yourself, Gareth. So I was on a 5-day heist, and it was sort of this like nobleman. He had this whole like wagon trail of riches, and we set fire to the path in front of them and behind them, so the horses had nowhere to go, so they panicked and they ran all over the guards. And then I ducked in and I took it from the nobleman's carriage himself. I took it right out from under his nose. It was a great take. You would have loved it. But
I hate noblemen and their nobility.
it sucks shit, right? Eat the rich. Speaking of which, if you want it, take it. I'll tell you what. We'll do a fair exchange because you've helped yourself to my coin, and that's fine. You deserve it for being a member of the Thieves Guild. But we'll do an honest trade for this one. One question, and it's yours.
Do I have to answer it?
Well, yeah. Tell you what, one answer, and it's yours. The question's part of the bargain.
Can I think about answering it before, like, if I decide not to answer the question, can I not take the necklace and we move on?
Well, of course, I'm not here to threaten you or hurt you in any way. I'm your friend.
Fantastic. I'm ready when you are, madam.
She looks at you, and I think, Gareth, because you are not quite as deep a level as Arnold, I think you see the shadows at the edge of this cave grow deeper. There's like a contrast as like the bonfire in that hearth dims a little bit and the shadows sort of steal forward over these piles of gold.
Hell yeah.
And she looks at you and she says, "Why don't you trust anybody, Garath?"
Keep the stupid fucking necklace. No, I'm kidding. Dumbass necklace anyway.
I didn't want it.
Stupid. I think Garath will freeze
Okay.
and say, instead of the necklace, can I ask you a question in return?
Of course.
Oh fuck, I really did only say one, didn't I? I think I'm going to ignore myself. Where am I and why am I a child?
Well, it seems like we're playing a little bit of a different game here. All right. Fair enough. I'll answer honestly. If you answer honestly, we'll do a 1-to-1. Fair?
Sounds fair to me.
I brought you here because this is a pivotal point in your life, Garath. This is the point where you stop being a child and you start being an adult. You've seen your hair. You've seen that you're going to leave your childhood behind you. You're going to cement who you are as an adult. Parts of you are going to stop changing. And the first part that's going to stop. But
above table question, I'm physically a child, but do I have my memories of the boys at Troll Skull, or am I now mentally 10 as well?
I think parts of this are eroding for you, Garath, so it's a little bit of
Oh,
a little
so
bit
like,
of both things.
It's like when you wake up from a dream and the dream slowly starts to fade, except it's like the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Okay.
it's like you're seeing the edges of the dream and you're realizing that there are parts of this that aren't what they should be, but you're still in the dream.
I got you. I'm with you.
Okay. So she says, when you leave this place, you're not going to trust anybody, maybe ever again. And I brought you here to figure out why. I'm trying to help you, Garath.
I think
And she grins again, and the fire gleams off that gold tooth in her grin.
I think Gareth just like gets mad and like as like a child would, and just kind of goes like, hold on, I need to line up the wording so I don't fuck it up mid sentence. By the way, I never do this in my life, so give me a second.
Dude, the number of times I have to do that on the fly in this show and fuck it up so bad.
I think Gareth gets mad and he just goes, because if you leave things up to other people, they knock over lanterns and burn to death. But then he gets confused and goes, where did that come from?
Ooh, okay, perfect. We're gonna split away from Gareth right there. That's perfect. We're gonna go to Mel. Hi, Diana. Sorry, I've left you on red here for a little bit. You see Gareth. Actually, what do you see? You see Floon's sort of like pale-faced, sweaty expression evolve Pokemon style from pale-faced and sweaty to almost full-blown panic as he's looking up at you, and he goes, "Oh, bro,
I think they're dead.
Are you sure you don't want one? Just like a little one?" And behind him, you see Arnold fully fucking collapse. Like you see him like he's been keel hauled, just like fold backwards like a lawn chair, and the back of his head slam against the floor. And then you look
like really stiff too.
Yeah, bang, 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 kind of Looney Tune style. And then you see Gareth just sort of like gingerly like slump sideways in his chair, still holding that earthenware crock that he drank from.
I think, yeah, seeing them like that,
That must
Mel
be some
would-
good shit.
Mel would, right? Like, what kind of therapy is going on in there? Who's doing the session? Is it Pedro Pascal? I'm just asking.
Is it Pedro Pascal? Let me get in there.
Yeah.
Mel dives for the cup mouth first, just like Gareth with the jong.
I think that she would throw a book at Floon's head and, just one of the big old encyclopedias and say,
Mhm.
what was in that.
Okay, give me a dex attack, please, bestie.
It's this thing called psilocybin. I found it out in the woods.
Oh, I was gonna say it's this thing called DMT. What did you say? Dex?
Dex.
Was that a 20?
It
I've been
is.
drinking, my brain's not raining.
So it should just be your
I see it, yeah.
dexterity bonus. Yeah, it's like a +2 or +3 or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely not a +5, except
Fuck
it is.
off, Jesus God.
Why would I lie? You
That's
made
true.
it.
I did.
Well, thank God for that +5, because this would have sucked ass otherwise. That is with the +5. That will be I can math 17.
17. Okay, 17.
Otherwise, 12.
All right, you see this encyclopedia. Floon just manages to get the black tray that he was carrying in front of his head. So the encyclopedia is it's like a glancing blow across his forehead. It doesn't like take him out, but he goes like, oh. And then he starts stammering. He's like, oh God, it was just an accident, bro. Like I'm sorry. I didn't like, it was just like an experiment. I mean, not like an experiment. That sounds really bad, but like, it was just like you know.
No, I don't know. I don't know. She's holding up another book. Why don't you tell me what your experiment was? Because that first one was a warning throw, and I imagine Josh Pat's growling at him again.
Oh yeah,
too.
Josh Pat's
he knows that Mel doesn't like him, so really the book is her being nicer.
I think Floon is cowering behind this black serving tray, sort of like the world's cowardliest Trojan. And he says, it was just like, I think you guys have just been like so stressed, like out in the world. Like I was talking with bro Arnold, and he was telling me about like you guys were in like the city of the dead, and that was super stressful. And then you guys like encountered a ghost, and like it just seemed like you guys were having like a really bad time. And I just wanted to like chill you out a little bit, man.
Can I tell if he's lying?
Give me an insight check, please, bestie.
That is God, rolling like shit. I gotta drink more. It's only 13. Ugh.
13. It's hard to tell what his intent is because he's so scared of you. Like his fear is really the thing. Like his voice is shaking, but it's hard to discern, like, is he lying or is he just scared of you? You know what I mean?
I feel like Mel has that problem a lot.
She's not mad at it though. Like there are worse problems to have. She's gonna say, I'm sorry, did you just drug my friends and without anybody's consent, which is not cool. We don't condone that here.
I'm almost certain Garath would have said yes if you told him what was in it.
I would have said yes if I'd known Pedro was going to be there, but here we are. So, what was in it?
Give me a persuasion check, please, Mel. I want to see if Floon is gonna obey your line of thinking or go with what he's got in his head.
Oh, I think he's obeying. Oh yeah, that is a 19.
Okay, that's quite good. Yes.
Finally, Jesus.
He reaches into a back pocket and slides onto this black serving tray. Something that is unfamiliar to you, Mel, but is very familiar to you, Dianna, because we built it in the opening scene. It is a single brick of white powder with a smattering of purple dust across the top.
I'm glad you specified because it's from the opening scene. I thought you were going to be like, it's very familiar to you, Dianna. It's DMT.
It's ketamine.
Wait, holy shit, dude. Floon's plug is Jesse Pinkman.
Hey, man. Hey,
and he's been holding out on us.
Floon's deep, man. You guys underuse a resource.
So Mel doesn't recognize.
Correct. I think Mel just sees. I mean, they're obviously drugs, but Mel wouldn't know. You know.
I think that she would, since you said he put it on the tray.
Yeah, just to show her. And I think he says like, oh, it's called Horse Resources, bro, and it's this new one that just came on the market, super rare. My guy said that there's only like one, and I got it. So like, great deal for me, points for Floon. And so like, I just wanted to like help you guys relax a little bit.
How long are they gonna be like that?
Bro, Garath should come out of it. I mean, should. I haven't done it personally. Should come out of it in like 10 minutes. I'm gonna
Tell
be
you
so real.
Floon,
I'm gonna be so real with
I'm
you.
not gonna throw another book at you if you do the remainder of it. Right now. Do it.
Before that
Shot.
he's gonna say, I'm not sure when Bro Arnold's gonna come out of it because I'm gonna be so real. That guy had a lot.
Yeah. You take what's left, and I won't, I don't know, sick Josh pad on you.
All right, bet. And he takes a double fucking fingerful of it. Bestie, how do people take fantasy drugs in this world? Tell me.
Oh, I thought it was up
Ear.
the nose, like ear. Yes,
Right
ear.
to
Okay,
the
yeah,
ear.
yeah.
Ear.
He sinks his head sideways and like tamps it down into his ear like a percussionist slamming a drum.
He rolls up a dollar bill, but he uses it to like push it farther in.
I think Mel
And-
would be a little surprised that he actually did. Like, she was getting ready to like throw another book at her. She's a little surprised, and now she's thinking maybe she should come down since everyone's about to be tripping, and she's kind of apparently because Garath is supposed to come out of it soon. She's gonna
If
put
you
Josh
gave
back.
me a million years, I would have never predicted that Mel would be the trip sitter.
Well, she didn't know Pedro Pascal was going to be down there. To her
That is
credit.
true.
Okay, I think Bestie, you slide down just in time to see like the veil slide over Floon's eyes, and he looks at you and he goes, "Deuces, bro," and just like falls backwards just like Arnold did. And he like breaks a chair on his way down, like he shatters a chair.
And a rib.
She doesn't give a fuck about him though.
Yeah, no, for sure.
She's gonna check on Arnold first because he's obviously.
Okay.
It would have been so funny if Mel was just like, "Oh my god, the chair.
I mean, that's kind of how she feels about it, but
That's
she
gonna be like
figures
$20."
she's kind of thinking that like his intent can't have been like too nefarious if he just did it himself. Like,
That's true.
obviously he trusts that whatever is in that is
Like it's not poison, according
like
like, you know
it's
what I
not
mean?
laced with fantasy fentanyl or anything like
right.
that.
Anyway.
So she would check on Arnold to make
Okay.
sure that he's like still breathing and doesn't need fantasy Narcan.
We're gonna cut away from you. We're gonna cut back to Arnold after a peek.
All right, let's do it.
So great to me.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Critically Stupid. It is the halfway point. You made it. Woo! Stoked for you. We have some announcements to get through very briefly, you and I, so please keep your arms, legs, feet, ankles, calves, and other extremities inside the sawn-off whiskey barrel that you're floating down this river in. Otherwise, it will topple over, and I'm terrified that you will drown. We are, for legal reasons, playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist, an official Dungeons & Dragons licensed module written by Chris Perkins, Scott Fitzgerald-Garay, Kim Mohan, and Michelle Carter. If you or any of your squalid soldiers or your best childhood buds or your recently incarcerated fellow inmates would like to get into D&D, I highly recommend that you get in touch with your warden and you go to dnd.wizards.com. Check out all of the cool merch they've got there for you. They've got sets of campaigns that can take you from level 0 to 20. They've got character sheets that you can edit and fill out online, and they've got shivs that they'll send you baked into a fantasy D20 cake. Don't tell the warden I said that. That's just between you and me. dnd.wizards.com. Check out all the cool stuff they've got there. If you would like to end up as a character on our show, you can tweet us or get in touch with us on TikTok or Instagram at CritStupid across all of our platforms. I don't think I had any guest characters in the previous couple episodes, but I've definitely got some coming up. So tweet at us or tag us in a post on TikTok. Let us know what you thought of the most recent episode. Let us know if you think there's something we could be doing better. Let us know if you'd like a very specific brand of joke, and we'll try to accommodate you with that. We probably won't do it, but we'll try. Okay, now this is very exciting. YouTube recently lowered their limits for the partnership program, which is how shows get monetized on YouTube. Instead of 1,000 subscribers, we need 500. And guys, as of recording this, we're at like 450. Like, we're really close. So if you haven't yet, I would deeply, deeply love it if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, if you could like this video, if you could send this video to a friend you think might like D&D or our particular brand of cow-riddled piss comedy. We would I mean, we would genuinely love you for it. Anything that you can do to help us get pushed up in the algorithms. If you listen to us audio only, if you could leave us a rating or a review on Spotify or Good Pods or Apple Podcasts, anything to get us pushed up in that algorithm so that we can get in front of new listeners who hopefully like us, like you. Fingers crossed. That's all I got. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for rating and reviewing and subscribing and just generally growing with us. I think the show is going some really exciting places, and I can't wait to do it with you. All right. That's all I got. I love you, and you take it squeezy. I know that many of you are suffering from the egregious plague of social medias that is spreading all over the world. I know that Twitter is now x.com. I know that TikTok is secretly being used as a Chinese spy vehicle for the government. And I know that Instagram makes you feel ugly and poor. So instead of all of those social media platforms, I have a solution for you, and that is your imagination. Step inside with me as we go on a journey to a fantasy land fueled by Libris Arcana dice. Garion, can you tell me about the Libris Arcana fantasy world, please?
Come with me and you'll see a world of really fucking cool dice. We're not gonna get sued for that, are we?
No, that's
Okay,
fine.
cool.
Public domain, probably. Dianna, what's the best set of dice that you can think of to put into this fantasy Libris Arcana world that we're doing here?
Well, I'm a fan of more of the metal dice because I kind of like, the thunk sound. So
Yeah.
just like a really strong, like that one, that would be perfect. If we could just like build me like a throne out of that metal dice in this fantasy world, that would slap, and I would never leave because that dice is amazing.
It's like the Iron Throne, but with
Yes,
dice
that's
instead of
exactly what I
swords.
was thinking, actually.
That's badass as hell. Anthony, can you tell us how exactly our listeners can build their own Iron Throne?
Their own Iron Throne. That was incredible, Alex. Also, I hate you. Just how dare you? You can build it very easily with Libris Arcana. If you just throw them at the floor, they will magically stick together into the throne shape. If you get enough of them, and you can get plenty of them if you just go to the website and use our special offer code of stupid20. You can get that off of a monthly subscription or just any dice that you're interested in. And you have to check. You might have to look at every single dice, maybe buy every die on the entire site, but eventually you'll find the magical throne dice. It's like a Willy Wonka, search for the golden die.
100%. Everybody should go to LibrisArcana.com. Use our exclusive discount code STUPID20 for 20% off your order site-wide. That is anything you find on that site, 20% off with our exclusive discount code STUPID20. Libris Arcana, dice for life. What's going on, dear listener? We have peed, and we all feel better. I'm not quite sure what Dianna got into in the mid-roll because I haven't heard it yet, but judging from that expression on her face, I'm going to figure it out in post. So we're going to cut to Arnold, who is all the way at the bottom of the pits of Tartarus that we're building together.
Right. I don't know you, sir. How do you... I mean, I would love to be your best friend, but at this point, we just met. How do you know these things about me?
Oh, my dear friend, you don't recognize me?
No, I'm should I recognize you?
I'm superstar Pedro Pascal.
I was in The Mandalorian. He says, and no, because you're so far down. It's tricky because I have to illuminate Garath to certain things, but you're so far down, Arnold.
You're
I don't
so
think you would
fucked up, dude. I'm
so
sorry.
fucked up. I don't think you'd notice. So I think all he says is, I'm blank. And I need a name from your village growing up of somebody that you would trust.
Tezeroth Dandycloth. You have to say it now.
That was off the cuff too. That's
just
crazy.
how that works.
So the teddy bear from the beginning is Gregory, and now we have fucking Tesseroth Dandy Claw.
The way he looked off camera when he was coming up with it made it look like he had it written down somewhere, just like list of names if needed.
I should do that. That's a genius idea.
He says, Pedro Pascal, superstar Pedro Pascal says, I'm Tesseroth Dandycloth. And between blinks, Arnold, Pedro Pascal vanishes. And you are looking at the white bearded, lined face, clear blue eyes of Tesseroth Dandycloth, the elder from your village. And he's wearing his city councilor robes, and his hands are stained with chalk from teaching at the local school. And he smiles at you and he says, my dear boy, you don't recognize me.
So upon seeing him like that, Arnold would just break down and say, "I'm so sorry," and just like hug him is what he would do.
He hugs you back, and he smells like eucalyptus and the smell of his classroom, which is a little bit like mothballs and old wood. And he says, "My dear boy, don't worry about it. It's fine. But I am so curious, dear Arnold Stevenson. Why are you so scared all the time?"
You smell like
The
moth
world's a
nest, old
scary
man.
place, Pedro.
Hey, Diana, keep your self-insert out of my dream sequence.
Who are you talking to, Tetheroth?
Tezeroth. Oh, just like old Tezeroth, always talking to people who aren't there.
Fucking Tezeroth,
Classic
man.
Tezeroth.
Fucking Tezeroth. Walking down the street, talking to his goblins.
Don't we all do that?
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. So Arnold would say, I'd like to imagine like Tezeroth wasn't there when this happened, and it was kind of like a Simba moment for him. But I think that I think that because something happened with Arnold, where so he's just like, you don't understand. I was playing, and it was my first time in front of everyone, and something happened, and when I opened my eyes, they were gone. Everyone was gone.
Everyone was gone.
Everyone was gone. I don't want it to happen again. I'm scared it's gonna happen again.
Well, my dear Arnold, the world is a scary place, and things things happen. I'm quite sure that when you go back to your playground and you look, all of your friends will be there. There's nothing to worry about. Terrycloth Tesseroth, or whatever the fuck you called me,
So close.
will be here to
Takes out his sword.
you.
Tetheroth may have been a madman, but I'll be damned if he didn't know his own name.
And then he looks at you, Arnold, and I would like you to roll me a insight check, please.
Got it.
Really want to go to a con that Pedro's had and be like,
Actually-
don't ask questions if you can just say Tesseroth Dandycloth.
Actually, Arnold, roll it with disadvantage because you're so comically high.
Okay, you got it. So just roll twice, take a lesser one.
Correct.
So does the like copious amounts of like malt liquor that Floon put in these drinks interact with the like methamphetamine, or what's up?
You don't know. You don't know what Floon put in these bevies.
I got 17.
Okay. 17. Okay. Tessercloth, Dandycloth.
Tesseroth.
Tesseroth,
Like
Dandycloth.
There
Tesseroth,
you
Dandycloth
go.
Nailed it.
leans over you, and I think he's still got the semblance of this embrace that you hugged him. And I think you're, maybe there's a part of you that's crying because you're scared, and all of this is like happening to you. And you hear his voice in your ear, and there's a moment, Arnold, where it reverberates through your head, and you feel it echo along your bones. Like you feel his voice echo through the bones in your hands and fingers, and all the way down through your joints and through your knees and into your ankles.
That's
and all the way down
usual.
your feet.
That happens every time I hear someone talk.
And he says, "Now it's time to go home, dear boy. Will you show me your home?" Now, in this moment, Arnold, I'm going to bind you to a yes or no. Because I know that Arnold, as an adult, and I suspect as a 10-year-old, has a tendency to talk his way out of things.
Yeah.
I'm going to bind you to a yes or no right now.
Okay, I'm going to say
Arnold talks his way into things a lot too.
that's very true. Yeah.
That he does. Also, like a grown-ass man asking a 10-year-old to show you to your home is not a good look.
I like to. Okay, so
If it wasn't Pedro, I'd be more upset. but-
Sure, I get it.
So I imagine like Arnold has a relationship with Tesseroth. He knows him very well. He trusts him. He hugged him immediately. He feels comforted by him. So he's just gonna say, "Yes, I will. I'd love to show you my home."
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna cut away. We're gonna rise up a level and go
Arnold
to
somehow gets higher.
Gareth.
I live on a weed farm.
This older lady looks at you, and really quick, like almost as an instinctive action, she reaches up and grabs her eye patch again. But this time, Garath, because you can see the edges of this, because there's a part of your brain that's seeing what is real and what isn't, you notice that it's not to adjust her eye patch, but to press it down. Like she's holding something behind it.
No, sorry, go ahead.
And she says, "Now, dear boy, I have told you this before and I'll tell you again."
I think Gareth cuts her off, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
We haven't met before.
No, that's not true. You know me. You know me. It's me, Gareth. And there's a buzzing of static that comes from her mouth, Gareth. Roll a Constitution saving throw for me. No, I'm sorry. Roll a Wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay, that's not as bad as it could be, I guess. And I got a 18 plus 1 is 19. Gareth is more sober than normal.
She doesn't say anything. You just hear the static. And she looks at you like she said something. But because of your good roll, you have the momentum to say something back now.
So I think that like as soon as Gareth hears the static, that kind of like wakes him up even more, because like everything has been presented as if it was real or normal.
Correct.
And so he would look at this woman and just kind of, oh fuck, what would he do? I'm so sorry that you're gonna have to cut this dead space out because I'm stalling for time.
It's fine. It's worth it. I'm really a big fan of like everything that everybody's doing.
All right, lady, you need to cut the shit. All right, I don't know you. I've never met you. You're here trying to talk to me like a quack. What is going on?
And I'm keeping all this gold I took.
If I don't wake
Okay.
up next to bags
And
of
that
gold, I'll
necklace.
quit.
Weirdly enough, Gareth, I think this is going to be resolved by a basic bones perception check, please.
Fuck yeah. That is one of my better modifiers. Not with that roll though. 9 plus 3 is 12.
Okay. You turn, and the 10-year-old form of your real-life best friend, Arnold Stevenson, is nothing but a series... You know what it is? It's one of these golden figurines that lines this room. It's not a real person. It's something that's been made to look like a real person. It's a statue that you thought was real when you came in and you thought was walking next to you, but it's just a statue of like gold and gems and all the things that adult Gareth wants in life.
I think Gareth's hand would automatically go to the hilt of his teleporting dagger just out of like nerves.
Yeah. And your hand darts to the empty place at your belt where you conceptually know is your immediate escape. And your hand just grasps that empty belt and cloth. And this woman laughs at you. And the cave echoes with her laughter. And she stands and suddenly she's taller than she has any right to be. She's 10 feet tall. And she reaches up and pulls the eye patch off her eye. And we're going to go up a level to Mel. You've got Floon freshly down. You've got Garath slumped over in his chair. And you've got Arnold, who looks like he is entering rigor mortis. Where do you go first?
Well, I think that Mel does have a certain amount of like basic sort of emergency medicine almost just from, I mean, she
Like
ranges,
first aid.
she's out.
Yeah,
and-
as a ranger,
yeah.
you need to be self-sufficient. You need to be able to treat
Right,
basic
right.
care.
And I think that even though she is like real tough outer, I mean, obviously she cares for her friends a lot, and that's why it hurts every time somebody leaves. So she's very vested in keeping them alive and well and through this bad trip. So like, and she's got Josh Pat with her too, and he like keeps running off to bring her like more towels and stuff, and she's wetting them and putting cool cloths on their head. And it's like the one
Adorable.
time she's like talking soothing, like it's okay, we're gonna get through it. And she's like making sure that they're breathing and they don't need the fantasy Narcan. and-
Lying them on their side so they don't choke on their vomit.
Right. Exactly. Floon, she's like doing it
Straight
but
on his back.
last on the list. And
Got it. Okay.
like she puts him on his side, but she kicks him onto his side. Like
Puts a pillow over his mouth.
real nice about by him. She like uses her boot and she's like saying shit like, this is your fault. This is your fault. I'm not gonna forget this. You're gonna be so lucky if I don't fire your ass.
Okay.
You guys
Can we have
should
like a
go.
post-credit sequence at some point where you explain everything that Floon experiences?
I was just thinking, can you just do like a solid like a one shot for our
Yeah.
currently non-existent Patreon, which is Floon's trip?
Dude, the way I imagine Floon's trip is instead of like a therapeutic version of someone he knows, it's just like him, and it's just like, yeah, you're all good, dude. Nothing wrong here. Cool, man. Thanks.
It's like it's like the chicken from Surf's Up talking to
Yeah,
the chicken
exactly,
from
like
Surf's
Chicken
Up.
Joe.
Okay, bestie. Josh Pat runs downstairs, and I mean, like at a single word's command, your wolf pup is well trained at this point. He gets you fresh linens. He Nana style from Peter Pan. He puts water on to boil somehow, and like brings you hot water and also cold water for like hot cold compresses. And he's like at your beck and call, and he's like attentive, and he's a really good aid. Give me a medicine check, please, bestie. That's
I
actually, I
didn't
think,
even
the
know
first
that
time
was
this
a
campaign we've
thing.
rolled one of those.
I don't know. If I roll like shit, then I don't deserve to be a nurse.
Yeah, you have to quit your job in real life, depending on this D20 roll right here.
Oh god. Oh, that was a nat 20.
Let's
I
go!
get to keep my
No
job.
way.
I get to keep my job.
Yeah, you don't have to quit. You get to pay your bills.
Suck it, poverty.
Okay.
That's a really good episode name.
Episode.
Suck it, poverty.
Suck at Poverty is quite good. I really hope the community goes for Suck at Poverty.
Okay.
Okay, Dianna. Garath is fine. Garath is essentially like one level under asleep. He's just like super asleep.
Super asleep.
I mean, been there.
Floon is okay. Floon is twitching a little bit and muttering, and his eyes beneath his closed eyelids are fluttering, like he's looking at things that aren't there. Arnold is nearly catatonic. Arnold barely has a pulse.
Damn it, Arnold.
Has been dead for 7 minutes.
And actually, I think as you turn Arnold to his side so he doesn't gag on his own vomit, his shirt slips, and you see a series of broken blood vessels along his shoulder blades and lower lats. Right about, if you could imagine a supersized adult hugging adult Arnold, where their hands would touch Arnold's sides, is nothing but a series of broken blood vessels and bruises.
Normal.
Totally normal.
It's a real bear hug, and I appreciate it.
And there's a moment, bestie. I think you're going quickly between Garath, Arnold, Floon, Garath, Arnold, Floon. Obviously, spending more time with Garath and Arnold, and then like as you have to, you go to Floon, like when you've got nothing else to do.
Just a glance. Yeah, he's not dead.
Where Floon's
Just
hand,
put a mirror under his nose to make sure there's breath, and that's it now.
Floon's hand reaches out and grabs your forearm. And you're gonna join us. You're gonna join us in the Upside Down really quick. Just for a moment, just because I want to give you the opportunity that I'm about to give these guys. So,
Oh, if Pedro's not there, I'm gonna be pissed.
Arnold, you say you agree to show this figure your home.
Yes.
And I think as dreams go, there's like a blurring where the cottage falls behind you and you're walking through the forest, and you are standing at the edge of a deep forest looking out into a plain leading up into a mountain range, and you see your village. You recognize it. You know it in your bones. That's where you call home. That's where
Got
you
it.
feel the safest.
Okay.
And you look beside you. There's on one side is Tesseroth Dandycloth. Tesseroth, I feel like I fucked it up again.
No, you got
No,
it.
you got it.
You nailed
Tesseroth
it. That was-
Dandycloth with his chalk-stained fingers and his white beard and his robes. And then you look to your other side, and your best friend, Garath, you know that's your best friend. How could you forget? It's your best friend, Garath.
Of course.
Is a living puppet, is a series of
Hi-ho.
broken sticks and bits of cloth that have been bound to conceal the joints between these broken sticks. And there's a garish, like 2 eyes and a smile scratched across a slab of wood where his face is. And as you're looking at it, that head pans to you and you see that painted grin widen.
That is a nightmare image.
Nope.
Yeah.
We're gonna rise one level above
Jumping
that.
right the fuck out of that.
Oh. Garath.
You're a puppet.
You're a puppet.
There's a grown man's hand directly up.
Boiling out of this figure's empty eye socket is a flood of seawater that stinks of old algae and brine and dead fish. And as you stand there, like, I think you're like cupping the waistline of this shirt that you've tucked in your pants so the gold doesn't fall out. You start to feel seawater rise into your shoes and soak your socks and slowly rise up
Oh, you're
your
about to go
legs.
for a swim with gold.
So can
Bestie,
I
swear to fucking God. Hey, Dianna, respectfully, you shut the fuck up. Go ahead, Garath.
I was gonna do something, but I'm so scared it's gonna start that whole fucking thing again.
Go ahead, do it. We have to yes and.
So Garath knows that all of that gold in his pockets will weigh him down underwater, so he's going to take it out and throw it at the lady.
Gareth
All right.
is a fool. He could have kept it all.
He couldn't have, is the thing, Dianna.
I have an idea.
You know what?
Let's
You know
move
what?
on before I slit my own wrist.
All right, fair enough.
That's my thing.
God damn it.
I think you take fistfuls of this gold. I think Garath would be reluctant to throw the whole thing at once.
Yeah,
I think you
for
would
sure.
go fistful by fistful as like a defense mechanism. And you throw this series of gold, and I think you throw a fistful of gold, Garath, and it almost obscures this figure in a shining curtain of twinkling gold, which is one of your favorite things to see as a 10-year-old and as an adult. You've always
yeah.
been captivated by shiny coin. And there's a shimmering wall of gold coins.
Golden
And
boobies.
suddenly,
A whole wall.
A shimmering wall of boobies.
a huge wall of golden boobies.
A tidal wave of titties.
And then instead of an older lady with a gold-tinted grin, you're looking at Floon. And there's seawater pouring out of his mouth and his eyes and his ears and his nostrils. And he opens his mouth like he's going to say something to you, but it's just an explosion of more seawater. We're going to go one level up. Mel, welcome to the Upside Down. I'm so glad to have you with us. You are in a forest, and there is a hunter in a campsite after a hunt. Tell me about the campsite. What's it look like?
A hunter in a campsite outside of a...
After a hunt, like they've just finished a successful hunt.
Okay, I heard you wrong. Just the one hunter?
Just the one.
Pretty basic, little campsite then. Maybe just like a pretty basic like canvas type tent sort of set up, maybe like tied to a tree to make it, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I noticed in a small fire and like a little pot over the fire.
A mailbox that says Pascal.
Then there's a little mug which also says Pascal
There's
on
number
it.
one daddy on it.
You know what, Bessie? Because you've been so great, there's an older man sitting at this fire, surrounded. You know what? He's surrounded by 3 old gray muzzled dogs that all lift their heads to like sniff at the air as you walk into this tent site. And God damn it, if it's not Pedro Pascal who looks at you. And
Mel's like, I should have drank that thing.
I think because you're so shallow, Diana. I think because this is such a temporary
Rude.
effect.
But okay.
You-
Yeah, for a second I was like, damn. What
Yeah.
the
No, like what? Because I
Burn.
happen to have a
No,
crush
no, no,
on
no, no, no,
Pedro.
no, no, no,
God.
no.
Because all you care about is physical things.
You are already seeing
Because I
the
told
edges of this
Aubrey to
campsite
suck it.
flicker. You're already seeing the seam of this hallucination, dream, illusion, whatever it is. You're already seeing it start to like change. I think Pedro Pascal stands and looks at you, and then suddenly between one blink and another, there's a sword in his hand. And he points it at you and shouts, "Where is your home?" And just like I did with Arnold, Bessie, I'm going to bind you into a yes or no answer. You have to tell this figure where your home is, or you have to refuse.
I think
of
it's so
course
funny
she wouldn't
how-
if she's on the end of the trip and she happens to know DMT only lasts like 15-20 minutes if you're lucky. So she's like, I'm just gonna ride this shit out, and like, yeah, no, she's not telling him shit.
Okay, for sure.
But it's Pedro, so she's not into like the sword thing going on.
What do you
like
what do you
how-
say? Oh, sorry, Gareth. Go ahead. I interrupted you.
For me and Arnold, it was like slow, kind of building up this subterfuge, and like, come on, you can trust me. But now it's just like, where's your home? Tell me.
Well, there's not a lot of time. I mean,
There's not a
didn't
lot- I mean-
actually drink anything, and I imagine it's only a little bit of time before Josh Pat comes back with his fresh set of linen and sees Floon has grabbed me, and then he's gonna bite Floon, and you know, there's not much time. So I can understand the immediate threat, but I ain't telling him shit.
So what do you say, Bestie?
Okay, so he's got the sword, and he says,
Mhm.
"Where is your home?"
In your bed.
I think instinctively she would go to grab like her.
Arrow.
Yeah, thank
Bow
you.
and arrow.
Yes.
Mhm.
Words are hard. Do I have it though? Because I know that.
So you
When-
reach behind your shoulder where you know you keep your quiver, and your hand ducks to your side where you know you keep your bow. But just like Garath with his empty belt, you grab it, nothing but your clothes. And actually, Diana, you look down, you're not wearing your robe and ranger
Oh.
gear. You're wearing a simple like
Scrubs.
shirt and pants. Like you're just dressed in regular clothes. You haven't worn regular clothes since you were 13 when you first went on your dad's rangings at his insistence.
I thought you were gonna say I wasn't wearing anything, and it was one of those naked dreams, and I was gonna be like, "Hey, Pedro's here. I'm not into that either."
Nope.
Yeah, I'm like-
I have less than zero interest in being the Pedro Pascal to your fantasy dreams. I'm gonna be so real, Diana. Like, respect
Well, when
you
you
as a
put it
person.
like that,
See, now you broke the fantasy. Now it's
Yeah.
you,
Oh, I
which
know,
I have
that's
no
on me.
interest in.
So, Diana, you just grab an empty air.
Okay, so nothing's there. All right, so she would probably take like a step back and what would she say? I don't even know if she would entertain that question with an answer. Truthfully, like she knows something is
A
up.
refusal of
Doesn't
like
have
threat
this.
alone.
Yeah.
All right, I'll buy that. You don't necessarily need to answer in words. A gesture is enough. So you immediately go to shoot this figure, but obviously your hands scrabble at empty cloth and empty air because there is no bow and there is no quiver. And I think Pedro Pascal, fantasy Pedro Pascal, rushes you, like starts sprinting across the campsite, and he kicks the logs of this campfire away as he can't even be bothered to take 2 steps around it. He kicks the fire away, and there's a spray of embers and fire and charred logs, and his hunting dogs are at his side in a sharp whistle, and they're scrabbling after you, barking and screaming, and he's got his sword and he's shouting, "Where is your home?" And I think you turn to run, and immediately behind you, maybe some feet away, you see Floon staring at you.
That motherfucker.
Now, this part's gonna be, I'm gonna need a little bit of patience from you guys and the audience to fucking twist this one. Arnold, there's a shout behind you as you stand on the edge of this wood, and you feel a hand on your shoulder pull you away from the grasp of Tesseroth dandy cloth.
Nailed it.
And like yank you backwards. Garath, there is a hand, there's a shout in this cave, and then that hand grabs your shoulder and hoists you above the seawater boiling at your legs and feet. And Mel, a figure hits Floon in the side of the head with a stick, with a club, because you're running at it. You've got so little time on your lair. Arnold, Garath, and Mel, you turn to see your adult selves coming to rescue you out of your level of your dream, your trip, your high, your whatever. Arnold, because you're the deepest, yourself is shrouded in shadow and his face is indistinct, but when he shouts at this Tesseroth dandy cloth, it's like you're torturing me, my man. Like, I've got so much going on right now. It's fine. It doesn't matter. When
all right, let's go back. I'll come up with a different name. Let's go back. No. Do it all over again.
When Arnold Stevenson, the adult, shouts at Tesseroth Dandycloth, his voice is unmistakable. You know it's you coming to save yourself. Garath, you have a clearer vision of it. But even your adult Garath, like the sunglasses shroud half of his face. His white hair is unbound and in like wet strands from the seawater, like around his face. And Mel, a layer up, you've got the clearest vision. You turn and clock yourself exactly as you remember yourself. You've got your bow and arrow. You're holding a stick that you just use as a cudgel to beat Floon in the side of the head with, because that's how you feel stuck in this dream as temporarily as you are. It's like, this motherfucker grabbed my wrist. Like, you remember what happened. My question for each of you in turn is, as this dream, hallucination, illusion, whatever it is, as it falls away and you rise up to safety, and you feel the vestiges of the hallucination fall away, what is the one thing that your adult self can say to your child self, or vice versa, to leave a lasting impression?
Okay, so Arnold, back in like between his child self and adult self, I think the child self would be the one kind of saying it to the adult self, and it would just, kind of echo and like reverberate outward. But he would kind of be like, the village was our comfort, but it's no longer our home.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
All right. So like safety of home, but as a temporary structure?
Yeah, like it's no longer that's no longer where he would consider home. It was the thing that he was missing, but it's no longer the thing that he identifies as, or as his home.
See, like as the DM, I'm so fucking curious as to what adult Arnold's home is, but let's save it for a future episode. Gareth, one level up.
I think throughout this whole hallucination, I was seeing it through young Gareth's eyes. But as soon as the hand touches my shoulder, I think the perspective switches and I'm back to adult Garath, and I just put my hand on young Garath's shoulder.
Okay.
And I, as adult Garath, say, you do not need to suffer through other people's mistakes.
Really good. Really good. Okay. Dianna, as Mel.
It's going to be, I think, adult to child. And she's going to say that family is more than just blood. And love is more than just your blood family.
I love that. That's
Hell
great.
yeah.
And then for a little bit of a lighter note, I would like each of you as an adult to describe child you, because as Garath said, the perspective shifts when adult you enters the scene. So Arnold, I want you to tell me what 10-year-old Arnold looks like. Garath and Mel, same thing. I want you to describe 10-year-old you. What do you look like at 10? What does young Arnold look like?
Okay. So young Arnold has a tie.
Yes! I knew it!
What's the easiest thing I could do that also works the best? But no, I really like that idea, actually. I like that Arnold was very studious and wanted to know all about like his abilities in magic and mostly music, and wanted to learn everything he could about sounds and all of that. But yeah, I like to think that he was a messy person as a child, like just like a pig pen sort of person, but always like tried his best to look the part, to look as if he had his stuff together, but he clearly did not.
So, young Garath, as I previously mentioned, his hair is black because he's 10. He hasn't hit 15 yet. Also, his hair isn't long enough to be tied up yet. So it's just
That
kind
awkward
of
stage.
yeah. It's a what?
It's awkward because it's not tall. It's just like
Yeah.
down
Oh,
below your
yeah.
ears.
Okay, yeah. It's just kind of like shaggy-ish. He also he does wear the wizard robe because it's customary, but he like rolls up the sleeves and like he tucks in the like waist to his like pants so he can
All right.
but he still has the exact same sunglasses.
Nice. Okay. Classic. And Dianna as Mel. What does 10-year-old Mel look like?
So as you pointed out, not in the ranger clothes, just wearing like kind of a basic shirt and pants, but like still comfortable. Hair is still in like the same sort of braid, and she's got like a child size like bow that she keeps on her because she just is training on it. And
It's like one of the ones with the like plunger arrows.
Yes. Oh my God. I was just about to say it's one of the Lost Boys
Nice.
bow and arrow, like with the like, little suction cup.
Yeah, like that.
Hell yeah. Okay, great. So you each have this moment where you pass something from adult to child or child to adult as you feel yourselves like rising out of this hallucination, dream, illusion, and you surge back into your own bodies. Garath, you sit up from your chair and sort of like take a breath. Arnold, yours is rough, man. I feel like it's like when you nap
so
too hard on an
hungover.
afternoon and you just like wake up and you like,
Oh yeah,
Where am I?
you think it's
And
I think it's the next
Dianna,
day, but it's not the next day.
yeah, exactly. And
You're
Dianna,
like,
I think you
you're
just like,
sweaty. You were wearing jeans when you fell asleep, so you're like, ugh.
oh, it's like sticking to your legs. And Dianna, I think you just open your eyes and breathe normally because you were down there for maybe a
You
minute.
like jerk your arm
I
away
like to
from
think that
Floon.
I like to think Josh Pad is biting Floon.
You know what? Yeah, let's roll for an attack for Josh Pat. Josh Pat rolled a 19.
Damn.
So
Josh Pad
yeah,
don't miss.
There's
Josh
blood
Pat's-
everywhere.
Josh Pat has his arm around Floon's wrist.
Josh
Pat has his
arm?
mouth around Floon's wrist.
Josh Pat
I was
hit
like,
a
wait,
major
I think I'm
artery.
still in the trip. What?
He's strangling him with puppy paws.
Oh my God. Josh Pat is biting Floon.
Yeah.
And there is blood everywhere.
Yeah, he's hit a
But-
major artery.
As you all like come up, I think you all are gonna have your individual reactions, but Floon's eyes open and he smiles and he looks at you, Mel, and he says, "Oh, that was crazy, bro!
Smile bigger, you're bleeding everywhere.
Ow!"
My favorite
I
part
also-
of that moment was Garion knowing that this was going to get cut, so he hits
Took a
his
hit off his vape. I think he does it on purpose, actually. I think he breaks the table to ask a question he knows I'll cut so he can fit his vape.
That's right.
Look at his face. Look at his face. You know it's fucking true.
That's smart. It
You
works.
son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.